Hello, I'm Imara Jones, reporting with FSTV here at the Netroots Nation conference in Philadelphia, here to talk about a variety of issues that are being discussed here at this particular conference. And of course, top of mind to everyone across the country right now is the issue of immigration and detention. And that's one of the reasons why we are happy to be joined by Troy Turner, who is with the Shut Down Berks County Detention Center here in Pennsylvania to talk about the way in which this issue is playing out locally. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is the Berks County Detention Center, and why are you campaigning to close it?
Yeah, so the Berks County Detention Center is a federal immigration detention center. It's for asylum-seeking families. It's one of only 3 in the entire country. The other 2 are in Texas. But this one's unique in that it is the only county-run detention center in the entire country, which gives us a very unique opportunity to close with like a much easier path to get there versus like trying to shut down a privately run detention center.
And so the county is allowing the federal government to house migrants there, immigrants there.
Correct. The federal government reimburses the county to do their job for them, essentially.
Has that facility been inspected? Do we know how many people are there? Do we know what the conditions are like?
So it's constantly changing. There has been inspections every now and then. But I go back to a report done a couple years ago, because this came out while Obama was president. You know, these issues obviously didn't start under Trump.
Right.
And they wanted to find how we can house migrant children in a humane way, and they commissioned this study. And the result of this government-funded study was that there is no humane way to hold children. So despite any kind of conditions inside, despite any kind of reports that might say otherwise, the issue isn't like anything that's going on inside, it's the fact that it exists at all.
Right. Which is why it had been longstanding U.S. policy to not put children in detention centers, to let them be with their families out in the world, but that's something that changed, as you said, during President Obama's administration and has just gone on steroids recently. So can you talk a little bit about why this issue has flared up locally, and where are you in closing it?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I think that you kind of touched on it, where like we had a really messed up system in place, and then Trump came in and a lot of other people came in and just like exploded these issues that were not as serious in past administrations. And where we're at locally is we're kind of in a really unique place. So like I said, it is the only county-run detention center. We have 3 current county commissioners, and it's really up to them. They're the ones who are keeping this open, and it all comes down to money. They get, you'll hear different figures from different people, but anywhere from $1 million to $3 million a year for running this center. And one of them is a Democrat, and one of them is, and all of them are running for re-election. So we all, as citizens of Berks County, have a unique opportunity to, like they can shut it down with 1 vote. So we can either push them or we can take other courses of action.
And where are you in that process?
So we just had, as far as electoral things go, we just had that primary, and then the general is in November. But it's also about pushing them too, right? We can't just say, like, let them off the hook, you know? And then there's other efforts to get the governor on board too, and it's really where we're at.
Mm-hmm. And how are you feeling about the momentum that you have?
I think that we're in a weird place now where like despair is really high, but hope is really high too. Things keep getting worse and worse and worse, but more people keep coming in, and more energy keeps coming in, and more efforts. And I say that I'm like perpetually optimistic, sometimes to the point of like naivety, but I have a lot of faith that we're going to shut this down.
To what degree are you also in contact with other organizations and coalitions across the country to shut down their local detention centers?
Yeah, that's a great point, because one of the common complaints is that like, what happens if we shut this down? They're just going to go somewhere else. It doesn't eliminate this problem. But it's not, this like isn't a NIMBY issue. We're like part of a massive nationwide coalition. We're working with the other 2 detention centers, Carnes and Dilley, which are both in Texas. We're working against detention everywhere. Because, yeah, we have to recognize that we got into a point where like we have this like family separation, and people get so hung up on that. And then people see these centers, and it's like, well, at least the families are together. We have to remember that a lot of these people are just waiting for deportations, and that deportation is family separation. And that we have to like take this on as a whole and work together with these like localized movements that exist all over this country. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, it sounds that you're hopeful about the possibility to close this. We wish you all the best in your efforts to try to keep families together and to not have children be harmed. Good luck on a successful conference as well, connecting with other people who are trying to do the same thing.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, and thank you for joining us.